Okay, so it's been about a month since we set up this display tank with Altum angels, Manakapura angels, some tetras and some cichlids and corridors. And it's time for a review and it's time for doing some basic maintenance on this fish tank. Well, basically a lot of things happened here over 1 month. And the most important and I guess negative thing was an explosion of algae, an absolute algae boom. It was just everywhere on stems, on leaves of plants, on sand, on decorations, on glasses, on fish tank glasses. So it was real bad case of algae or boom. And I figured out the reason. The reason I think was with the lights. The problem is with this UV LED lamps, tubes. There are 4 of them in total. You can see they are not multi-spectre, so they just white, plain white. All 4 of them are white. And they're not dimmable. They're always that bright. So I can't really control the intensity of light. And because they are not full spectre lights, they're not very good for plant growth. They're actually great for algae growth. So my solution was to significantly reduce lighting hours, especially of the other 2 tubes in the back of the tank, and that worked actually. So I've also done quite a lot of frequent massive water changes to dilute some nutrients and to deprive algae of nutrients, and it mostly worked. So there's still some algae in different places, like on moss, on stems and branches of different plants, especially that Ludwigia in the back, and on some of the leaves of Nymphaea plant. But it is now controllable, and I can see that algae is now declining, which is a good thing, I guess. Well, in terms of plants, you can see that this massive Nymphaea plant, this is Nymphaea zenkeri, has grown enormous. It is absolutely enormous. Some of the leaves, they're so long that they just bend when they reach the glass. So they're probably, well, this tank is 3 feet high. They're probably over 6 or even 7 or 8 feet tall, some of the leaves. And when they become fully submerged, like here, for example, eventually they would, well, quite soon they will cover up with this countless tiny little spots, holes. They will go bad quite fast. So I will need to trim these leaves, and I'm going to show you the length of these leaves. They're absolutely enormous. This down here is the same species. This is also Nymphaea zenkeri, but I'm trying to keep control over this plant, so I'm trimming any runners that it wants to send to the surface. So I want this plant to stay low and to stay that bright and beautiful, because this is how it's going to be if it doesn't reach the surface. It's going to be this crimson, dark red, sort of very rich color. So otherwise, Ludwigia repens in the back and Ludwigia peruviana, they're growing. I would say they're coming back after all this algae explosion, and they are starting to grow. I've got a Echinodoros cordifolius in the back. It is also growing, and some Cryptocarani vendi also growing, but not too fast. Well, in terms of fish, everyone is doing great actually, but you can see that angels have grown massively, especially Manakapura angels. This is a part of the problem. I currently have too many Manakapura angels, and here there are 8 of them. They constantly fight with each other, and I need to reduce their numbers. I need to sort of cull them. By culling, I mean removing them from this tank, moving them to another tank, and eventually rehoming them. And well, I've got them from a local breeder, and I can see that they have good genetics. They're probably just 4 months old, or maybe like 5 months old, but they're already quite huge, very tall. This is what Manakapura angels at this age have to look like. They also have quite a lot of red color, and it is actually more like orange color on their backs, which means that once they're fully adult, once they're fully grown up, they're going to be absolutely stunning angels. But there is one problem with them. They have great colors, great genetics, but look at their pectoral fins. Not all of them, but probably half of them have this curved bent pectoral fins, like this one here, this one there. So they're not straight, they don't go down in a straight line. This is not a problem of genetics, this is a problem of eggs and larvae. So is it temperature or pH, is it too low or too high? Well, with the pH most likely too high when they were at the egg stage or at larva stage. And that's why it happens. The pectoral fins bend. They don't look very good. I don't plan to breed them, but if I breed them, this deformity will most likely pass on. So I will try to pick up the most sort of low quality fish, if you can call it that way, and I'll remove them today. I'll just keep 4 Manakapuro angels here and 4 Altum angels here, and we'll see how it goes. If this Manakapuro which staying here become too aggressive, or they would develop some of these poor deformities and so on, I will have to remove more of them, eventually only leaving Altums in here. But other than that, well, all the fish are doing great. Water parameters have always been stable. So apart from the algae explosion, which is now under control, and apart from this minor issues with the quality of Manakapuro angels, everything else is great. So temporarily I'm going to add them into this tank. This is the largest tank I have in my fish office. It currently has some L numbers and bleeding heart tetras. So, well, it should be fine for them for a short period of time until I rehome them, until I find new owners for them. So let's get going. I'll move them in here right now. I just wanted to show you how massive this Nymphea leaves from the top. You can see like they cover the whole surface and they're literally larger than my hand. There's just so many of them in here. So we have only 4 Manakapuro angels left with more or less straight pectoral fins. They seem to be decent quality. It doesn't look like there are too many fish right now, and obviously I have to keep in mind that all of these angels will grow much larger with time, so I will keep it as it is for now. I won't be adding any new fish in here. And I guess as a final note, I will feed them, so you can have a look at me feeding them brine shrimp and some small bloodworm.